I'm Alfred Bundy. We're here doing a special Meet the Leaders at the New Jersey State Capitol in Trenton, New Jersey, talking to legislators about what's going on in Trenton. My special guest right now is Assemblyman Gary Schaer. Gary, tell me a little bit about what was supposed to happen today. I understand there was some concerns about the big items being pulled, things like recreational marijuana, minimum wage. What's going on?
Well, some of those things were scheduled, and some of those things, frankly, were not. I think the Speaker and the Senate President came to a conclusion in concert with the Governor that there were some additional changes, modifications that need to be made to make a better bill. I think all of us are willing to sacrifice another week or two or three or four in order to get a better piece of legislation that would better serve the people of the great state of New Jersey.
Okay. Now I want to talk to you about the park exam. Since we last talked, it looked like the park exam has been modified quite a bit. It's actually taken some of the evaluation portion as far as evaluating teachers. I think it's reduced it from 30% to like 10%. Good idea, bad idea?
I think we're on the right course. I think there's still some things that we might want to consider doing. But I think overall those voices, including my own, which called for a mandatory language, have been heard and listened to. And that's very reassuring in terms of the democratic process that all of us so adhere to.
What did you want as far as your language?
My language, I wanted less dependency on the test itself.
Okay, and that happened?
And that happened.
Okay.
There's still some smaller items which I think need to be addressed. But that was the major issue. How does one take one solitary, isolated factor and give it such overweight in terms of the evaluation of student, of teacher, of the system itself?
Let's stay with schools for just a few more minutes. School safety continues to be a problem or a concern around the nation. What are you proposing? What would you like to see? Certainly there's a couple of ideas here about how to make schools more safe. Are you in favor of putting an officer in each school?
Well, I would venture to say that the first role of government, before medical, before education, before everything, is the very safety and security and sanctity of human life. We clearly need to be doing much, much more. I'm pleased that this morning there's going to be a vote taken in both the Assembly and an identical bill in the Senate, which would provide funds for parochial and private schools on the issue of safety, so that we're giving close to as much money per child in parochial and private as we are giving for public school. Essentially, the message is clear and resolute, and that is all of New Jersey's children are the responsibility of the state.
Now, those dollars can be used for
only security purposes, and as a double check, Al, those purposes need to be agreed upon by the local school superintendent of the public school to ensure that the funds are being given in an appropriate manner. We have no interest here in mixing church and state. We have no interest in counting the angels or whatever one's going to say, but rather to ensure the sanctity of the human life of each and every one of our children.
People still concerned that the fares are increasing at New Jersey Transit, but yet still a lot of problems there. What ideas, thoughts you have about improving New Jersey Transit?
Well, one idea I have is I think that we need to give Governor Murphy some time to get things done. We had 8 years of nothing being done under Chris Christie. Systems fell apart. Training never took place. We lacked enough engineers. We lacked enough of everything. And daily we hear about delays and closures, and it's the result of 8 years of things simply not being done. For all of us to point our finger at Murphy is convenient, but I would argue it's unfair. He's still within his first year of office. I think he's done some remarkable things with public transportation. Certainly much more needs to be done. Over $280 million, I think, has been poured in by his administration, above and beyond what was budgeted for. The commitment is absolute. The commitment is real. And unfortunately, many commuters, from my district, are suffering from a lack of any kind of prophylactic measures having been taken during the 8 years of the Christie administration.
Before we go, how to make New Jersey more affordable? Taxes still seem to be a concern. Trying to attract new businesses, affordability is still a big concern. Ideas, recommendations?
Everything you've said is absolutely true. We are the highest taxed, or one of the highest taxed states in the country. There's no way to get around that. We can provide excuses and rationale, and still the fact remains that New Jersey, for so many of its residents, is close to, if not blatantly, unaffordable. One thing that I would suggest that we could be doing is to be sitting down with everyone at a round table and begin exploring what is fundamental to government's purpose and what is not. Over the years, we've developed program after program after program, each one of them wonderful at the time. The question is, are they all still necessary? Are there ways that we can offload some of these responsibilities to the private sector? Is it possible that many of these priorities are no longer germane to the function of government itself? I think that we need to do that. It was the one thing that Governor Christie said when he first took office, that I agreed with. We need to re-examine how we spend our money. We need to re-examine what are our priorities and how do we best achieve them.
Well, we are going to keep working on all of that, especially with your leadership. We're out of time here, but we're in the State House talking to Gary Schaer. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.